Hey everyone, my name is Jamie Lee. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching this video today. Now today we're back with some more new arrivals from Old Navy. Specifically today I wanted to try a bunch of their different curvy shorts and also some different little spring and summer outfits, dresses, some little skorts. I know I've seen quite a few comments on my recent videos asking about curvy short options in general because I do agree it can be very hard to find shorts that actually work if you're curvier, if you have a bigger bum, if you have wider hips. A lot of shorts just don't fit on that body type at all, and you tend to get like a ton of gapping at the back. It looks really awkward, it feels bad. So today we'll see if Old Navy has any affordable options that might work for us. Now for reference, I am only 5'1". I usually wear a US size 10 in bottoms and typically a medium in tops. Now for every single thing that I try on today, I will include exactly what size I got in it, what color I got, and a link to the specific thing down in the description box. So if you do want to check anything out, or maybe I forgot to mention specifically what size I'm wearing, you can find that information down there. And because it's Old Navy, I will also include separate links for Old Navy US versus Canada, because sometimes I feel like the redirecting can be a little wonky. So just make sure you select the right one for where you live. Now with that, let's jump into it with this first outfit, which is this little yellow and white gingham skort with this green cardigan. Now I specifically bought these two things together because on the website, this is how this was styled. And I was like, I just don't know how good that will look in person. I figure why not try it? And I'll be honest, I think that this actually is fairly cute for spring. Like this little color combo, it is unexpected. I would not have thought to put it together myself. I think that it looks cute together though, with a little white t-shirt underneath. Now I could not find a single plain white t-shirt in my entire wardrobe, so I have this one with a tiny cherry on it, but this is exactly how they had the cardigan, like buttoned at the top, open at the bottom, and I think that it actually looks quite cute. Now I've talked about these Old Navy cardigans before in the past. In general, I feel like if there is a color of them that you cannot find elsewhere, or you just really want a particular color of cardigan for a specific outfit, they're fine, but they're nothing special. They're quite thin. They're more of like a long sleeve shirt than a sweater. So if you're hoping that it's going to keep you super warm, I don't think it will. But in the spring, as something to just like throw on to cover your arms, I think that they're fine. Now, I actually sized up to a large in this because if I'm going to have it open like this, I would prefer for it to be slightly oversized versus being like skin tight. And these cardigans are meant to be like tight to you. So if you don't love like a super tight to you cardigan, I would always recommend going up one size in them. I adore this green. I think the shade of green is so cute. I wear a lot of green in the spring, so I will almost certainly keep this and wear it with other things. I also own a midi length skirt that ironically is from Old Navy, but I got it secondhand, like I thrifted it, that I think this will be very cute with. So that's super exciting to me. And then we have this little skort. Now I tried some similar skorts to this from Old Navy last year, and I think that my opinions of them are still kind of similar. So this is like a linen blend fabric. It feels pretty good. It definitely is going to get a little bit wrinkled. You can see I've tried to lay this flat for a couple of days since I received it, and it's still a little wrinkled just from transit. So how these skorts work, from the front it looks like a little mini skirt, but then it is actually just shorts with this one extra like flap added over top. The back of these shorts are elastic and the front is not. It's just nice and smooth, which I do think looks good. I think these look incredible from the front. Even from the side, I think that they look good. For me, I think it really falls apart from the back because it is just shorts. And it's not that it looks bad, I just feel like the skirt element of this looks very cute, and I kind of wish that it had like this little skirt flap over the whole thing, like a more traditional skort. Now, obviously the length of this is fairly short, but because it is technically shorts, that doesn't bother me too much. I would absolutely get chub rub if I were going to wear these walking for a really long time, but I think for me this would be more like something I would wear if I was going to go grab lunch with someone. Like I wouldn't be wearing this on a hike. And these do not have any pockets, which these also do not have any pockets, which is a little bit of a shame. I would usually like for my shorts to have some kind of pocket, but in general, I think that this as an outfit is actually very, very cute. I will definitely have to try this little green cardigan with the yellow gingham skirt that I already have, because I think that that could actually make for a very adorable outfit. A little unexpected, but definitely let me know how you feel about this all together, or how you feel about just the little skort as well. If I take off the little green sweater, you can see it a little bit better. I think that it's cute. I think it'll just be a matter of, do you like how it is with like the skirt portion only at the front and just shorts at the back? And I do also want to mention they had this in other colors and solid patterns as well, but I think it was under a different listing than this gingham one, so I will try to link that as well if you like the style of this little skort but don't necessarily like the gingham. And also, I got this in a size medium, my usual size, and it fits great, not tight at all, very, very comfy. All right, next up, like I said, I have a bunch of different pairs of shorts, so I figure we'll go through them kind of quick. First, I decided to try a pair of the linen shorts from this year in a size medium. I tried a size large previously. This is what they look like on. Very oversized, quite baggy, especially across the back. However, I thought that they were quite cute. I thought they fit really comfortably. They just are quite a baggy look. So I think it'll depend, do you like how it looks a little bit baggier, or do you prefer something that is slightly more fitted? These are definitely much more fitted across the bum and across the legs. However, they also fit a lot better along the waist. So if you're somebody that absolutely cannot stand gapping and would prefer something a little bit tighter, I think these in the regular size, your standard size, will work great. If you like something that's like slightly more oversized, like this year in particular, I was looking for a pair of shorts that were like a little bit looser, a little baggier for a couple of specific outfits, then I would probably recommend sizing up in them. Now, I absolutely love this kind of orangey color. I also got a dress in this color for us to try. And in general, I really like the little linen shorts from Old Navy. And what do you prefer? The size large, the slightly baggier look, or do you prefer something like this that's a little bit more fitted when it comes to linen bottoms? All right, next up, like I said, I have a ton of different shorts. The next few that we're going to look at are all some of the curvy shorts. However, I can confirm, setting them all out beside each other, that they are not even remotely the same size. All are size 10, all are curvy shorts. The waist measurement for all three is completely different. So this is something where I do find Old Navy to be extremely unreliable when it comes to sizing across different products. Sometimes even with the exact same product, two things of the exact same product, slightly different color, or maybe even just different production run are completely different sizes. So these shorts are some of their curvy, high-waisted, baggy shorts. These are a 5-inch inseam, so obviously a little bit longer. You're definitely not going to have to worry about your bum being out or anything. They're meant to be a slightly baggier short, and they're definitely like looser in the legs. However, they're so much too loose in this waist that it's not even funny. I could fit another half of me in here at least. In Old Navy curvy jeans, this is my usual size, a size 10. I have multiple different pairs of these jeans. They always fit great. In this, there's absolutely no freaking way that I could wear these. And I have definitely seen comments from people being like, oh, like it's just a bit of gapping at the back. It's not that big of a deal. If I sit down in these, like you're looking straight down the back of my pants. I have like a multi-inch difference between my skin and the pants. That's crazy. And absolutely not something that I'm willing to spend my money on. Maybe if I absolutely adored the shorts, like they were my favorite shorts I've ever seen, I would be willing to go spend the money and get them hemmed to actually take a whole bunch of fabric out at the back here. But I don't think that these are cute enough to justify that. And for like a nice, cheap, affordable pair of shorts, I just want them to fit when I order them. Now, I do think the pinstripes on these are very cute. I do also think that they had these in a non-curvy version. So if you're watching this, but you're like, I can't relate to the curvy thing, like I just want some normal shorts, they do sell these exact shorts in a standard size as well. And these do have plenty of pockets. Like they have pockets on both sides on the front. They've got pockets on both sides on the back. So that part is really nice. Now, I do think that the 5-inch might look slightly weird on me. This is probably just personal preference. I, once again, am very, very short. So sometimes I feel like longer shorts look odd, like they look too long, even though on most people this is probably the perfect length. But I do have some 3-inch of the curvy shorts that we can try in a second to kind of compare. Then I also just grabbed one of these. I think this is just like the perfect baggy tee or like the perfect oversized tee or something. Very cute, super comfy, great little tee. I love this shade of blue. I think that it is super pretty. And who doesn't love just like a perfect, slightly oversized tee? I think that that looks great. Very comfy and no complaints. All 3 of these pairs of shorts are a size 10. They're all fully, completely lined up on this side. You can see that these ones are way bigger. These 2 are technically the exact same style, just different lengths. If I flip them around, that the pair closer to me is bigger. The waist is bigger. Very odd. We'll try them on and see how they look on. All right, next up, we're trying the 5-inch version of the denim curvy shorts. So once again, these are a size 10 in the curvy shorts. They should be very, very similar to the last one. These ones definitely fit a lot better in terms of the waist measurement. However, I do feel like they are probably too tight across the bum and the hips. So they're kind of squishing down my bum a little bit. They're pulling a little bit at the front here. And just in general, once again, I feel like the length on these looks a little bit awkward on me. I think if you were slightly taller, this length would probably be fine. These once again do have pockets both at the front and at the back, which is great. They do obviously have like this little flower pattern on them, which I think is cute. Nothing wrong with that. Once again, the back is fitting a lot better on these. They definitely are fitting that like curvy mantra of having wider hips, but smaller around the waist, which I appreciate. That's the whole point of this line. And I do actually think that they're fine. Like they're quite a nice, thick, sturdier denim. They're not just that super stretch material that will just rip between the legs super quick. And I do think that they're pretty comfy. I just don't know if I love how they look on me. Once again, we'll try the 3-inch version. Maybe it's just the length that I'm not loving on these, but we'll see. Then I did also get this little kind of flowy, lacy top. They had this in a bunch of different colors. I got this like kind of orangish one simply because the pink was out of stock, but I still wanted to try it. So it's this very floaty lace. Now I'm just wearing pasties under here, but this is quite see-through. So I don't know what you are supposed to wear under it, given that it's just like tiny, skinny little straps. So you couldn't really wear a bra without the strap showing, but I do think that it's like quite pretty, like a cutesy little flowy tank. It has the ruffly little straps. It's still nice and lacy and ruffled at the back. And I do think that it's very cute. I just also don't understand what people would wear underneath this unless you're okay with just wearing pasties like I am right now. All right, for our last pair of shorts, we have the exact same shorts as that last pair, but this time we have the 3-inch version. So obviously these ones are significantly shorter. The other ones were hitting me much lower on the leg. And I can definitely say that I like how this length looks on me significantly better. Once again, when you're very short, I feel like things sometimes tend to look disproportionate. So I find when I wear longer shorts, even though they're only barely longer, they look so disproportionately long on me that people are like, oh, is she trying to wear like board shorts? Like it just doesn't look right. Whereas I feel like these might look way too short on some people. I think that they actually look fine on me. Like they look proportional and like normal shorts to me. Now the gapping on these ones, ever so slightly worse than the 5-inch. Like I mentioned when we were holding them up, these are the ones where the waist was slightly bigger than the last pair, and then that baggy pair with the blue and white pinstripes was significantly bigger. And I can feel that they were a little bit bigger because I do have a bit more gapping, but not enough that you would be able to see fully down my pants. So I'm not so worried about that as I was with the other pair. Once again, these have nice deep pockets in both the front and also in the back, and they are quite short at the back. Obviously, they're cutting off just below the bum. They're pretty short shorts, but I think that they look cute, and I'm inclined to keep this pair. So definitely let me know what you think. Do you prefer the 5-inch on yourself? Do you prefer it on me? Because I think this is definitely just going to come down to a matter of preference, but I do think once again that these denim shorts fit significantly better than those baggy pinstripe ones, unless you're okay with a ton of gapping or wearing a belt or something, because I really think that if you are curvier, they're probably not going to work very well. All right, next up we have a couple of dresses. So first off, I got one of these little little linen kind of square neckline dresses. And I actually feel like this is extremely cute, especially if you're just looking for like a little dress that you can wear in the spring and summer to work. Now, obviously it's a little bit short. You can get this in a tall length if you wanted it to be a little bit longer, so it's a little more work appropriate. But I do think that it looks pretty flattering on. Like, it definitely does cut in a little bit towards the waist, curves out nicely with the hips. It is wide enough that I do think that you can get away with wearing a bra under here as well, and it won't necessarily be showing at the front or at the back. There is some smocking at the back to kind of hold it tight against your chest, so if you didn't want to wear a bra, you could probably get away with that too. And just in general, I feel like this looks quite cute. I love the color of it. Once again, you can get other colors as well, but I am very much into this like very dark orangey color. I have been for years. I just think it's very cute, and I like warm colors on me. Now, I'll be the first to admit that this linen, for whatever reason, compared to some of the other linen pieces that I've tried from Old Navy, is ever so slightly rough feeling, like slightly scratchy. Especially I'm noticing it like at my lower back, where it's not necessarily flush to it at all times, and every once in a while when it rustles against my lower back, it's a little scratchy. So just keep that in mind if you are very sensitive to textures of fabric. But I do think that this is actually a really cute little dress. All right, last but certainly not least, I got one of these little crochet dresses. Now, they had this in two different colorways, either this one that's beige and white, or one that was black and white. I don't wear a ton of black, so I thought I would try this one out. Now, something I wasn't necessarily expecting is that this is like fully 100% sheer. There are just straight holes. For some reason, I assumed that there would be a lining of some kind. There's not. So what I'm doing is just wearing some NYX thigh savers under here, but you could also do some kind of like a full body bodysuit to kind of go under here, make sure that you are not seeing anything that should not be seen through it. So this dress is around a knee length on me. I assumed it was going to be longer. I thought it would be more of like a midi, and I did get a petite length in this, because typically when I get a petite, it's like the perfect length. I think with this one, I should have just gone with the regular length so that it was just like a little bit longer. I find this right at the knee length tends to look a little bit awkward. Like, it almost just looks like the dress is unfinished, versus if it was 2 inches longer or 2 inches shorter. Now, obviously this dress has nothing in terms of like pockets or anything. It's literally just a little crochet dress, but I do think that it's cute. I do think that if you were to wear this to like some kind of cute little like beachy themed dinner, or if you were going on a cruise, you could wear it to dinner. I think that could be very cute, but I'm also not like extremely in love with it. Like, it's fine. Once again, I wish that the length was a little bit different on this, but I do think that the beige and white looks quite nice. And I do also like the fit of this, where it is following the line of the body without being so completely bodycon that you feel super uncomfortable in it. I think that's nice. I think, once again, this one is more of just a personal preference. Do you like how it looks? Are you okay with the length? Or do you maybe want to go with a tall or a regular if you're super short to just get a bit more length on it? Because I do personally think it would just be a little cuter with a couple more inches. And with that, that's everything that I'm trying from Old Navy this time. I would say by far my favorite outfit we tried was that first one with the little yellow gingham skort with the little green cardigan, which once again, I wasn't even sure that I would like those together, but I feel like they looked great together. So who am I guess, to judge? Like always, I would love to know what pieces you liked, what you didn't like. If you've tried the shorts from Old Navy, especially if you are curvier and you've tried the curve shorts, let me know how they worked for you. I've had this conversation with a few of you now in the comment sections of different videos, but I really feel like the Old Navy curvy line is so hit or miss. Like, the OG loose curvy jeans fit amazing. I love them. I have them in a couple different colors. They're some of my favorite jeans I've ever had. The shorts seem to not work for me very well, and I've had a couple other things, like some of their like dress pants as well, just have not worked at all. Highly unfortunate. I really wish that it was a little bit more consistent, but like always, let me know your thoughts and I would love to talk with you down in the comments about it. And with that, thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you have a fabulous day, and that I'll see you next time. Bye!